Hello, EKN Nation, a new edition of the Debrief coming your way, episode number 152. It is Tuesday, July the 1st, 2025. And of course, David Cole making his trek back home from the United States Pro Kart Series Wisconsin Grand Prix. They've been up at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex at Road America on June 27th to 29th. We'll dive deeply into that. Of course, go through by the numbers, hit the paddock pass, and then do a race report of all the categories that were on track up in Wisconsin. Today's podcast, number 152, brought to you by OTK USA. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, and EOS chassis, and now the new Gallard, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz brands, OTK quality is second to none. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. All right, folks, my name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole for this edition of the EKN Debrief. David, as we said, was up in Wisconsin at Road America, the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex, up at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin on June 27th to 29th for the third round of the four-round championship. David, you're back. It looked like it was a pretty solid weekend. I picked up a lot of the action, followed all of your coverage on EKN. All told, some pretty cool new winners as well, which we'll dive into later.
It was an amazing event. I think anytime you go to Road America, you're in awe because, again, it's America's National Park of Speed.
Love it.
Lots of scenery there, lots of different places to go. You got Sheboygan, you got Elkhart Lake. Even people were staying in Fond du Lac, which has some numerous food destinations as well, too. And again, it's summertime. You know, we're in summertime in northern Wisconsin. Not exactly Michigan, but very close.
Hey, and also the end of an incredible run at the facility for what we focus on. First and foremost, the Route 66 Sprint Series was there 2 weeks ago. Then the USF Pro Championships with IndyCar. And then now the USPKS Wisconsin Grand Prix. FRP was there. There's been a ton of racing at that racetrack over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, again, June is the best time to get there. You know, we used to go there, and I kept telling everybody I've been going there since 1998 on Father's Day weekend. So it's a destination for sure. And I think when people finally go there for the first time, they realize it. Yes, the Chicago traffic is a nightmare. It took me 2 hours to get out of downtown Chicago. I should have went around.
You send me photos.
That was bad on my part, but. Yeah, once you get through that, you get into Wisconsin. People are going 85 all the way up to Milwaukee, so that's fun.
That's it.
And then you get past Milwaukee and into nature, and that is what northern Wisconsin is. I mean, just Road America is just amazing.
I love it.
A lot of history there. That's what a lot of people are don't realize. It's crazy when I mention something about Road America and like, are you kidding? Really?
Yeah.
They don't know. It's like. There's a lot of people that don't know the history of motorsports that are in karting. So just a lot to go over. A lot of things happened on the weekend as well. And again, it was a backdrop for an amazing weekend on the racetrack as well.
Such an iconic track as well in terms of where it's located, folks. Again, David said, if you've never been to Road America, definitely worth the trek. Go up for one of the events. I don't care if it's IndyCar or whatever you're going for, one of the bike weekends. Or go up to watch karting, because the track located essentially as you come up the hill. If you've watched the race on TV, you come up under the Corvette Bridge, you make a left hand there, the blind left, and through 7 and down to Hurry Downs, which is turn 8. Right to that point, if you're on track to driver's right, the track itself is built on this huge, on a hill. So the elevation change from top to bottom at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex is absolutely unbelievable. It's just a very unique racetrack in our sport. And I think having it, of course, within the grounds of Road America is absolutely amazing. And USPKS, David, back there once again. As we know, it's been around for 13 years now, but round 3 of the 4-round championship. The weather was pretty good for you guys this weekend, no?
We avoided the rain. We got some Thursday night, and it was forecasted to rain on Sunday. Luckily, that held off to the evening hours. So we actually had a dry weekend, so no rain tires hitting the racetrack at all. But it was warm. Sunday was actually the warmest of the days, got up to 88 degrees by the time we got to the X30 Pro main event at 1 o'clock. So again, that was the hottest part of the day. And it felt fine when there was a breeze, but when there was no breeze, man, the humidity and the heat just added up. And a couple of the workers needed to find some shade and coolness at the end of the day. And I was, by the time I got done with everything at 3 or 4, probably 4 o'clock, I think, or even closer to 5, I was done and ready to get in the air conditioned hotel room and kind of recover before writing the race report.
Well, thankfully you got some time off next couple of weekends. You can get some nap times in and catch yourself back up a little bit. The breeze obviously is one of the things that does help anytime you're super warm like that. We were there for the IndyCar weekend. It was, I think, 95 on Sunday, but there was a pretty good breeze. So again, that does make a big difference. Bottom line is, it was a fantastic weekend. Another big trip up to Road America for the Wisconsin Grand Prix. Let's cap off this initial segment of this edition of the Debrief with our By the Numbers feature. All told, at the end of the weekend, David, 199 entries. Did not quite hit the 200 mark for the trip up to Road America. There were some ups and downs in terms of numbers dropping off here a little bit, but still super strong in the KA 100 categories, junior and senior. Together, all told, 98 entries on the weekend.
Yeah, and they ran the split heat format, which, again, I think is probably the most fun of the weekend, because you don't race everybody all 3 times. You're mixing up. And we'll get into the KA Junior one a little bit, but that was pretty exciting at the end of Saturday, something I'd never seen before. So we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, again, solid numbers across the board. And again, with the big race, again, it's only 0.8 of a mile, but a big, long racetrack. So they're able to start all those drivers. So no cuts, no sold out entries. So everybody was welcome. I got to assume it'll be the same thing for Newcastle when we get there towards the end of the year.
Yeah, similar drops for the micro and mini Swift. They were 27 and 25, still good numbers. X30 Junior matched what they had at Daytona to start the season at 22. Actually, the X30 Pro category, which ran for a bunch of money, they actually had a couple more drivers than they had at Daytona. Trackhouse, not surprisingly, with the high watermark of the year at 240. It's, of course, the hub of so many racers down in North Carolina. 100cc Masters, the KA 100 Masters category, only 6 entries, which was a shame, but some big names, as we know, within the Masters category. And then, David, I talked about the KA 100s. Again, the pro category, the top end was pretty strong. There were the big names running there in the X30 Pro class.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's dive into Masters real quick.
Go.
We can blame Lorenzo Mardan. He was there at the racetrack, but decided not to race, so he pulled his entry. So he's the reason we didn't get to 200.
Oh, so Lorenzo.
I know there were a couple others that canceled, but let's just put a focus around Larry on
that. Let's hammer down on Larry.
Yeah, when I got to the racetrack, people who we hammered on in the outlap came to me right away. So I want to make sure I do that in the debrief as well. We'll try and hammer on some people, since it's going to be a month before I'm trackside. So.
That's true. Get it all out, David. Get it all out.
Yeah.
It.
But again, you're right. The X30 Pro was above Daytona, so that was good. There were obviously some names that were missing, but again, that's kind of where we're at with the USPKS program in terms of that category. And X30 Junior still strong at 22, matching that Daytona number. And yeah, you look overall, Rob, like you're right. You get your Florida-based people in Daytona where you get the bump. You get the bump for the Trackhouse regulars. And there were some locals from the Wisconsin area that hadn't been to USPKS on the year, but just didn't get quite the big bump that you would expect. And again, you got people not going because, again, it's so far north and people are afraid to go north. I don't know what it is, but that is a crucial part. But again, we keep talking about it. Once you go to Road America, you'll regret not going before.
100% agree. All right, we're underway with episode 152 of the Debrief, wrapping up David Cole's EKN trackside coverage for the Wisconsin Grand Prix Round 3 of the USPKS program. This show brought to you by OTK USA. When we get back after this first break, we'll dive into the Paddock Pass. David will give us some of the information that he picked up strolling around the paddock up at Road America. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. Welcome back to episode 152 of the Debrief as we cap off our EKN trackside live coverage of round 3 of the USPKS at the Wisconsin Grand Prix up at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex at Road America. Diving now into the Paddock Pass, David's got some information for us from the Paddock area from Road America. This edition of the Paddock Pass presented by Sony Racing USA. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sony Kart. The Sony brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sony Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. Visit Sony-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sony Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sony Racing USA network today. Sony Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Well, David, first and foremost, let's just roll back and start it all off with the USPKS being back at Road America.
Yeah, again, 2020 from 2020 to 2022, Road America was part of the USPKS program, so it had been off the schedule for a couple of years, but returning back for a 4th time in the 13-year history of the series. We talked in by the numbers. Just below the 200 mark. We actually were above 200 in the last 2 visits to Road America. It was 165 during the COVID year. So the 3rd highest total for USPKS at Road America. But coming back, this was probably the most active race weekends at the facility that we have seen in terms of kart racing, aside from possibly, a Route 66 weekend, as they had the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. They had the Formula Race Promotions program, which included F1600, F2000, F1000, and the Atlantic Championship Series, along with Prototype Sprint Series Association. Those cars were pretty cool. And actually, an old superkart racer, Farouz, was actually in one of those cars.
I saw Farouz Hagigi on. I watched a little bit of that actually.
I know. I actually saw him in Elkhart, and I couldn't believe that was him. I'm like, what would he be doing here? And then I saw him the next day at the racetrack. There was also an Optima Ultimate Street Car Challenge that made its way to the karting circuit Saturday night. That kind of ruffled some feathers about some old street cars, souped up muscle cars hitting the kart track and dumping whatever kind of fluids or tires and this and that. But quickly that got erased when everybody was a lot quicker Sunday morning after that happened. So that was pretty funny, because Saturday night was kind of, it was just a unique thing. But again, Road America people put on a show. It was cool to see. Spectators were throughout the 4.1 mile track, and they actually put the Kart Chaser feed up on the big screens whenever they didn't have anything going on the big track. So, and then people got to walk down and be part of the karting event as well too. So again, it was all in all, it's exactly what you want when you go to a facility like that with karting. Sonoma, we don't really see that because it's a trek to get up to that kart track. And we do see, if karters are down at the big track, they'll occasionally make their way up to Sonoma, or to the kart track. But it was, all in all, it was a great thing. They got a new scale building for the kart track. I was trying to think of something else, but overall, just a great motorsports weekend in Elkhart Lake.
Dave, rolling into the weekend, there was obviously a couple of big news items that rolled out. First and foremost, one driver coming back we haven't seen in a while. I'll let you, of course, you dive in deep. And another driver making a change. Both these European drivers, actually. One of the drivers making a team change. So let's roll through a couple of international drivers in the headlines.
Yeah, McQueen to Velocity Racing and Sodi Kart USA. This was his debut weekend with the new team on the new chassis. We thought he was going to be doing double duty, but just stuck with the KA 100 senior category. He will be racing X30 down the road, but this weekend it was kind of a focus on Velocity Racing's engine package or engine service program that they're doing with the KA Pro engine platform. So he focused on that category, while Zachary Clayman DeMello was double dipping the Canadian in both X30 senior and KA 100 senior with in his debut with Velocity Racing and Sodi Kart USA.
Interesting stuff there. We'll see how that pairing lines up through the remainder of the season. Let's talk about Joe Turney. Obviously, one of the big news was he was back in the USA for this weekend.
Yes, back for the first time since the winter months when he was racing at the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, winning that championship with four wins in the 4 rounds they had down there. So this time, however, was carrying the Alonso Kart colors. So changed it up a little bit. They do have the Alonso Kart brand available here in the U.S., and so they put him on that, as that was readily available in the shop here in the USA. And he actually double dipped as well, something we haven't seen him do since the Super Nationals when he won both categories in Las Vegas this past November. So it was a busy weekend for him doing both KA Senior and X30 Pro, but certainly he's a pro and handled it very well, and we'll talk later about his results.
One of the cool things that's been happening at Road America, and again, we talk about the fact it's a destination for a number of big events. Route 66 was already there this year. Now the USPKS, CKNA has been there many years in the past. They have a fantastic club program going on there. They do a Tuesday night racing series as well. One I keep saying I'm going to race in when I'm up at Road America. But a new karting school opening there. And I had a chance to talk to Mike Kirscher from the track when I was there for the IndyCar weekend. It's going really good. Tell me more about how Franklin Motorsports is involved in this program.
Yeah, Road America Kart Racing School, powered by Franklin Motorsports. It's something we've heard about over the last few months with Jamie Siraki at Franklin Motorsports. He's also brought in Steve Welk, a veteran karter and current spotter on IMSA and other programs as well too. But he's also been an instructor in the past. He basically was one of the lead instructors at Road America for the longest time before he went on to do some personalized driver coaching and spotting for the car racing network across the U.S. And I think he's done some stuff in Europe as well too. So so it's kind of a combination between those two coming together and working with new people that are looking to get into the sport of karting. It's an arrive and drive opportunity. They're focusing around 7 to 10 people at a time at specific dates at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex at Road America. But it's for all different levels, for people new to karting or even club and regional racers. They'll kind of tailor their program around your experience and what you need. But they have everything available from safety gear to the karts. They're focusing around the Merlin karts with Briggs & Stratton power. So for cadets, juniors and seniors, and even masters drivers to be able to go out and learn from two of the industry veterans that are in our sport with Jamie Siraki and Steve Welk.
I just love it. I think that having that an educational component at least racetracks, especially one that gets a lot of people coming through, I think is such a fantastic deal. Glad to see that it's obviously broken cover. It's rolling now, and I'm sure it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So shout out to Jamie Siraki and everybody at Franklin Motorsports for working with Road America to put this thing together. David, last but not least, a cool little bit of insight that I got from Nick, and I got to you, and you obviously were able to lean into it on the weekend. Very cool to see the Palacio family completing on both racetracks throughout the weekend.
That is something we haven't seen
Right.
in a long time. Maybe road racing where we're at Daytona, you see some family members racing in different programs. But this time at Road America, you had a father-son, the father racing on the big 4.1 mile track and a son racing on the kart track. That's Nick and Lucas Palacio. Nick is a Formula or F2000 competitor, has been so for a number of years now. Actually, this was his first time back in a car since 2023, but first time in this car since 2022 at Road America. So it had been some time since he'd been behind the wheel, but he was able to do very well. Won on Sunday, had a mechanical issue on Saturday that took him out of the top spot of the podium. But again, very unique to see father-son competing on the same weekend, but on two different racetracks at the same facility. And we'll get into talking about how Lucas did on the weekend later, but he's been spending most of the year over in Europe there racing the EKN junior package for Kart Republic.
Yeah, I just thought it was very cool that Nick gave me a text that said, "Hey, listen, by the way, I think I'm going to run the FRP F2000 race at Road America." I'm like, that is awesome.
It was probably the busiest weekend he's ever had. That's for sure. Because he was over at the kart track in his fire suit, getting transponders set the right way and helping get fuel and get tires going. They had Sean Scott on the wrenches. We know Sean very well, the snack daddy. Lucas or Nick wanted to make sure Lucas was prepared, ready to go. So giving Sean help when he needed, because again, Road America, that's the one thing about double dipping. It's a long walk to the grid. A lot of times you'll see drivers grab a golf cart and pull their cart back to their pit and then use the golf cart to drag their cart back up to the grid. Because again, it's such a long travel from grid to paddock area. It's not like Trackhouse where everything's right there, or even Newcastle. So it'd be like being out by the road and trying to get to the grid for some of the people. So it is a trek. It's probably the more treacherous or longest walks to the grid in the kart track facilities that we have here in North America. But again, that's probably the one bad part about the way everything's kind of laid out there at Road America.
Just got to get set up for it. Got to have that golf cart.
Yeah, got to have that golf cart or have two mechanics, one on each cart.
There you go. All right, another break in the action, folks. When we get back, we'll dive into the race report. Time to start going class by class, and we'll focus on X30 Pro and KA100 when we get back. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodi Kart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. The Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports is the official race team, producing many victories in different levels across the board. And the new Pro Race Academy is designed to cater to the next generation of motor racing, helping boys and girls aiming to make their mark. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. the Paralin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes, and the Paralin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Paralin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParalinUSA.com website, where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Paralin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Paralin. Welcome back to episode 152 of the EKN Debrief as David Cole wraps up his EKN trackside coverage of this past weekend's USPKS event out at Road America, the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex. We'll dive now into the race report and have a look at X30 Pro and KA100 Senior. The race report today presented by AIM Sports. From its early days, AIM Sports has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and they are excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including a 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and many more features. It's perfect for the karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron. All right, David, let's dive into this as we always do. X30 Pro, presented by Rawls Performance Groups. I'll give you the headline. You can start filling in the information. And here it is. Big headline, actually, out of X30 Pro. Massimino triumphs in most exciting final of 2025.
The weekend began as what could have been a possibly domination in X30 Pro, as Ryan Norberg was the driver to beat the championship leader coming into the weekend, taking top time in qualifying at 45.839. Rob, something I didn't talk about in the paddock was the grip level. This is a new tire, something we didn't have in 2022. To where we have the newer tire that came out last year, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah.
And so this tire definitely put down the grip, the racetrack has aged enough where it's now taking grip.
Okay.
That was one of the things. I haven't been able to go back and look at the lap times, but we'll keep that in mind as we keep going along on the weekend. Or talking about the weekend. But Norberg at 45.839 to set fast time in qualifying. He got a little bit of a draft, or at least a rabbit, off of Austin Garrison and Hayden Jones, who was the fast driver throughout practice. But Norberg came away with a sweep on Saturday, winning all three heat races handily. The first one over Turney and Garrison, the second one over Massimino and Turney, with Turney running up again in heat number 3 with Massimino in the third spot. So when the heat points were calculated, it was, of course, Norberg on the pole position with Joe Turney on the outside of row 1, Massimino and Garrison in row 2, and then Hayden Jones starting in P5. And Rob, the unique thing was, I'm not sure if you caught this, they asked me to be part of the press conference Saturday night.
Okay.
And it was Turney, Massimino, and Garrison. So Norberg declined to be a part of the press conference. Those three drivers who were starting second, third, and fourth, they looked like the most dejected and upset people I had ever seen. Okay. I don't know if it's because they didn't want to be there or if they knew because Norberg was wiping their asses clean all day long. So just to put that out there. So when we get into the main event Sunday afternoon, Massimino went on attack quickly. Again, he started third, got the inside line, so he got by Turney right away and attacked Norberg right away. So this kind of kept everybody at the front close. Zachary Clayman DeMello brought on the second wave of attack as he moved up to the front and led away until Massimino, who fell back to 6th at one time, or actually he fell back to 6th when Zachary Clayman DeMello came through. And then it was Joe Turney's turn, who came through and took over the lead on lap 6. So as Turney was out front, the eyes where everybody was watching was Paulie Massimino. He had the fastest card on the racetrack, was clocking in fast lap, and moving up positions. So he finally got into the second spot and then slowly reeled in Turney. By lap 19, Massimino was into the lead, and that was the winning move. Turney wasn't able to respond. Massimino put on a pretty good defensive but wasn't able to make a move, as Massimino was able to score the victory as they battled for third behind him. So it was Massimino at the line by 0.3 of a second over Joe Turney for his first ever USPKS victory in the X30 Pro category.
Yeah, so big for Paulie. I saw, obviously following online and seeing all the emotion that was involved in it, the family shots. It was fantastic to see that. So give me the scoop. What happened behind these front two running guys? Obviously, they're separated by 0.3 at the line after Massimino made the pass. How did things shake down further back?
Yeah, once the last lap began, that's when everything kind of went, the fireworks went off. Alan Isambard had a great run with the Rocket Racing Company, LN Racing Kart. So he was actually up to third by the time Massimino had taken over the lead. But again, they were getting hounded. Norberg was running fourth, got around Isambard at the top of the hill. As they came down the hill, Isambard went on the defensive, trying to not let the freight train of drivers go by him. Some contact was made, and eventually he got shuffled back and retaliated on Austin Garrison and blasted Austin Garrison in the banked downhill right-hander there after the S's, essentially taking both of them out of contention for a possible spot on the top 5 podium. So Isambard got docked all the way to last behind Austin Garrison for the contact. This allowed Zachary Clayman DeMello to come across the line in the third spot after he got by Norberg, but Zachary Clayman DeMello was penalized 3 positions for contact, so that took him off the podium, down into the 6th spot, moved Norberg back up into 3rd. Davin Roberts, the senior rookie, the pro rookie for RPM on the Tony Kart, into the 4th spot, and then Hayden Jones in the 5th position.
After all that, the strength Norberg showed early, what did you get a chance to talk to him why he wasn't in the fight at the end in the main?
Well, I think it was just a matter of track position and racing. Like I said, they attacked early. Norberg wasn't able to get away quickly. Yeah. Never led, was only into second for 4 laps at the most. So he always was either fighting somebody in front of him or fighting somebody behind him. So just wasn't able to, and then as we said, when Joe Turney was leading, he had a pretty good lead. So just, again, a lot of racing again, in what was probably one of the better races of the season for X30 Pro, if not in karting altogether. So it was fun to watch. Again, didn't quite end, good for some of the drivers we saw there at the end, as we talked about with Isambard and Garrison, but still a great race to watch. And again, Paulie Massimino's first win since he began running X30 Pro back in 2018.
Shout out to Paulie on that one. Big win for him. And David, just, for me, is sitting back, as I always look at, so many different teams represented within that top 5, top 10 as well, right? You got Brandon Jarvis Crack Racing, Jay Howard, RPM, Rawlson Performance Group, RPM. You talked about the fact that Zach Clayman DeMello was up in there for Velocity Racing. Garrison was up in there. Rocket Racing with Isambard, Garrison Speed. That's just, I love seeing so many different teams in the lead group like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's what made it so unique, again. And that was the fun part. And they paid back to 6. So Zachary Clayman DeMello was on the podium with the 6th place check, but no trophy. So again, paying back to this top 6 drivers. Paulie took home over $5,300 for his victory. So again, they paid 100% back. So 21 entries, right? Is that what we had? So all that entry money goes towards the payout.
Yeah, the pro drivers, big dogs in the sport for sure. Let's go to KA 100 Senior Big Field, as we know, presented by Brandon Jarvis Crack Racing. Here's the headline: Drew wins series first in phenomenal main event.
And this race, and again, a lot of the races on the weekend were really good, but this one was really good just as well too. Began with Eli Warren, the Hotes driver development pilot from being a privateer. picking up fast lap in qualifying a 47.860. And he actually got lucky because it should have been Caleb Gaffera. The staff actually sent out this group early, and we're sending out groups early. So Gaffera actually missed the run out onto the racetrack, ran over, got the cart down, got out onto the racetrack, and got 2 laps in. And his second lap was only 0.04 of a second off Eli Warren's lap. With no draft, all by himself on the racetrack. So he drove with a lot of aggression and fear that Josh Holtz, his team owner, would not do anything to him. So, so they definitely had fast machines on Friday. But when we got into the heat racing, we saw a number of different names up at the front. Brandon Lemke, the former race winner at Road America back in 2022 in this category, won the opening heat race, while Caden McQueen in his debut with Sodi Kart and Velocity Racing won the other race in heat round number 1. The second heats were won by Jake Drew, the driver for GFC and Formula Works, while Joe Turney picked up his first heat win of the day. He came back for heat number 3, picking up a second win, while Paulie Massimino ended up grabbing 1 win for himself. So Turney, the only driver with 2 wins over the 6 heat races, was able to earn the pole position for the main event with Caden McQueen, so starting on the front row. So an all-British front row with Paulie Massimino and Jake Drew in row 2, and then Brandon Lemke starting from the P5 position. And again, Rob, this was just a battle, all 22 laps in this category. First, early on, it was Massimino and McQueen who led early. And then eventually the GFC drivers of Drew and Keegan Kaminsky, who started back in the 8th spot, were able to slip by and lead the field. Kaminsky actually took over the lead on lap 8, and he was able to gap the field as Jake Drew got pushed off at the bottom of the hill by Brandon Lemke. It wasn't intentional, but Drew was able to maintain the 2nd spot as they made their way through the S's. But that gave Kaminsky a little bit of a gap. Eventually, the group closed back in and reeled in Kaminsky with Drew taking over the lead on lap number 16. Then it was Lemke back into the top spot, or actually into the top spot for the first time on lap 19. And then coming to the white flag, Jake Drew took back over the top spot, and a great little battle between the 2 drivers up front. But Lemke came under pressure for the 2nd spot. So that allowed Jake Drew to go unchallenged to the checkered flag, scoring his first ever USPKS victory.
Yeah, GFC Racing won too as well. Man, they're having a good year. Are they not?
Yeah, it was. Kaminsky was able to get ahead of Lemke there in that final lap. Paulie Massimino moved up into the 4th spot, while Eli Warren ended up finishing in the 5th spot. So again, had the fast time in qualifying and ended up on the podium in the 5th position. One of the big stories, however, as we talked about, Joe Turney starting on the pole position, he ended up finishing in 6th. It looked like the pace wasn't there, and it's a good reason why. He actually had the cylinder stud broke on the engine as the race was happening. Wow. So essentially the engine was being held down by 3 bolts rather than 4. And the only reason that didn't come out was because the engine seal held it in place. So it kind of was just sitting there rattling within the cylinder and the head. So a very unique possible mechanical failure. He stayed on the racetrack, was able to finish 6th, but it certainly with no compression probably on that engine.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because he took a picture of it, and I wondered what it was. So I messaged Daniel Tate, his mechanic, and yeah, it was the actual cylinder stud that snapped off at the bottom from the bottom end. So that's a rare thing. I don't think I've ever really seen that happen before. So maybe Tate's got too much muscle and he tightened it down a little bit too much. I don't know, but yeah, so very unique. Otherwise, I think we would have saw Turney in the mix for sure, but definitely down on horsepower for him in the main event.
Just two really good stories here, folks, and X30 Pro and the KA100 Senior. The first wins, of course, Paulie Massimino getting his first win running an X30 Pro since he started in the category in 2018. Then the Californian Jake Drew rolling in and getting his first series win as well. So big victories, big racing, as David kind of alluded to, just tremendous racing in both of these categories. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, the race report presented by AIM Sports will continue. X30 Junior, KA100 Junior, the two classes up next. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those of the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com. Back at it here with the EKN Debrief, episode number 152, as we take a deep dive into the USPKS Wisconsin Grand Prix, the event up at the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex at Road America. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, who was trackside throughout the weekend. We'll move now into the X30 Junior class presented by Speed Concepts Racing. And here's the headline: Shad wins series first at home track.
This was a great battle as well, too. Again, all categories didn't have anybody run away with a victory. This one had different drivers all up front all weekend long. Starting off and qualifying, it was Sarah Bradley with her first top qualifier honor with a 46.960 on her Speed Concepts Racing Sodi kart. So, she was able to put herself on top of the time charts on Friday afternoon. But then we had 3 different drivers winning in the 3 different heat races. It was Benham Abernathy who came away with the win, another Wisconsin driver, scoring the win in heat number 1 over John Antonino and Brady Shad. Lucas Palacio, who we talked about earlier, He was able to come through with a heat win in the round number 2 ahead of Shad and Sarah Bradley, while it was Shad who picked up the win in heat number 3 ahead of Palacio and Bradley. So that was a familiar theme going into the main event. You had Shad starting on the front row with Sarah Bradley on the outside, Palacio and Abernathy in row 2, and Max Weiland starting in P5. But it was the top 3 drivers, the 3 that we talked about in the last 2 heat races, that were able to break away with Shad, Palacio, and Bradley. Palacio led early before Shad led 14 straight laps before Bradley took over the lead for the first time on lap 19. But that was the only lap she led as Chad retook the position. And as they fought behind him for second, he was able to pull out to a 1.4 second margin of 1.4 second advantage and take the checkered flag for his first USPKS victory, first major race win of his career at his home racetrack of Road America.
Yeah, David, I loved your scale line video. I was obviously scrolling through those as I always do, and he was just over the moon for getting that victory. Awesome job for Brady there. Palacio in second, as you said. Sarah Bradley on the podium there in third. But give me the run from the driver. Started P13.
Sorry, I was looking at, Nathan Golseth came up from P13 all the way P4. Just a great drive. Just was able to knife his way through lap after lap and picking off drivers. Got as high as 5th, fell back a little bit, and then worked his way back up into the 4th spot at the end as he was able to beat out Max Weiland for that position. So, great win, great podium for Golseth.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Always good to bang out those podiums, especially at this kind of a level of racing at the USPKS. We'll go now to the KA100 Junior class presented by BBS Race Engines. Here is the headline. Pettit claims first USPKS victory.
Yeah, the largest category of the weekend with over 50 drivers battling and all 50 making the main event start. But first, it was Tristan Murphy picking up the fast time in qualifying, a 48.512. And he was actually in the second group. So he was in the middle group to hit the racetrack for qualifying. And he was able to hold on through the fast drivers from happy hour to start on the pole position for all 3 of his heat races. Unfortunately, in any of the 6 races, he did not pick up a victory. And Rob, this was the most unique thing of the weekend so far, or thus far, something I'd never ever seen. We had 3 different drivers picking up 2 heat wins. That's pretty normal. You can kind of see that once in a while. We had Shad and Nathan Dupuis picking up the wins in round 1, Travis Pettit and Brady Shad winning in round 2, and then Pettit and Dupuis winning in round 3. The unique part about it was all 3 drivers had all 3 same results in all 3 heat races. They had matched number of points. So we had to separate, do the tiebreaker by qualifying. And so that's how Brady Shad got the pole position for the main event, as Dupuis started on the outside of row number 2. He actually had I had the wrong class. I think he was 3rd in qualifying. And then Travis Pettit was 5th in qualifying, but it put him 3rd on the grid despite having the same amount of points as Brady Shad and Nathan Dupuis. So that was the unique part about this category on the weekend. We did have a 4-driver lead pack early on after Max Weiland actually was the leader for 14 laps, but he got shuffled back and it became a battle between Pettit and Dupuis. Dupuis was able to get around Pettit on the last lap as they made their way at the bottom of the hill. They got the double lefts right there. So they came into the final section of the racetrack. Dupuis went on the defensive and Pettit just pulled off the perfect over-under to get around that banked last corner to win the drag race to the line. Got to the checkered flag 45 thousandths of a second ahead for Pettit to win his first USPKS victory in the KA100 junior category. But Dupuis finishing second, 45 thousandths back from Pettit, was removed from the results, a DQ for engine tech. So that removed him from the results, putting Benham Abernathy up to the 2nd spot on the podium and moved Max Weiland into the 3rd position. John Antonino, that's a story in itself, finishing fourth. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then Daytona winner, Theo Salameo in the fifth position. So that was your top five. Now, Salameo came from 17th all the way up into the fifth spot, while John Antonino came from 16th to 4th. Now you're saying, okay, that's the same thing Salameo did. The difference is he came from last in qualifying. They actually had the wrong fuel in for qualifying, so they got disqualified. They moved him all the way back, so he started every heat race last. Ended up finishing in 9th, 7th, and 9th in his heat races to start 16th in the main event, and certainly had the pace to be up front and able to get up into the 4th spot. Didn't have fast lap of the race, but was just as fast as the leaders all race long, finishing 5 seconds behind Travis Pettit, who took the win.
Just to wrap up that segment, you're probably listening and hearing the trend that's going on here. All these new winners, right? Shad with his first series win, Pettit with his first USPKS win. A lot of new winners on the weekend at Road America. When we get back, we're going to talk about a couple more because we've got KA 100 Masters, Mini, and Micro Swift to cap off the race report. There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo, any competition, one helmet. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. All right, back at it here in the EKN Radio Network as we continue with the AIM Sports Race Report here. 3 more categories to finish things off. As I talked about the fact, a lot of new race winners. One happening here in KA 100 Masters as well, the class presented by Nash Motorsports. Here's the headline. Calderon claims first USPKS victory in late entry race.
Yes, Rob, what's the saying about having a good race? You only need what?
2 drivers?
There you go. Well, this one actually had 3, so we'll go with that.
I love that. Okay.
Adam Kreppen, again, this was the smallest category of the weekend, but again, good racing all weekend long. Adam Kreppen, the official turned race driver or racetrack or race karting. Oh my God, I can't speak right now. Race official turned driver came back for his first start of 2025 after being an official at Daytona and Trackhouse. He put in a 49.013 to set the fast time in qualifying, and he actually was able to win the opening heat race comfortably after a little bit of contact between championship leader Martin Stone and Carlos Calderon, who was not aware he was going to race until Wednesday afternoon. It was the Speed Concepts Racing crew having a fresh new kart ready to go and told Calderon, hey, you're going to race this weekend. And he goes, I don't have my gear. Alex Speed says, you're the same size as me. Here you go.
I saw that.
So Calderon made his first laps Thursday during unofficial practice and was battling with Martin Stone. Made a late move in one of the last corners of the racetrack and hit the curb, bounced into Stone and drove over the front end of Stone. So it took both of those drivers out of that race. So a tough break for them, but they bounced back as Stone actually won the second heat race over Kreppen and Calderon, while Calderon nearly had the win in heat number 3, but Kreppen pulled the over under perfectly on Calderon to win the third heat, as Kreppen was able to start the pole position for the main event with Martin Stone second, Calderon third, Eric Schumacher fourth, and Scott Falcone, who just did not quite come to grips with the high grip on the Pantano, starting fifth in the main event. Main event started with Calderon going on the attack early, got into the lead by lap number 3. Martin Stone came back to take over the lead on lap number 9. And Calderon talking to him, he said, I was just going to settle in behind Martin, but I got a great run. So lap number 12, Calderon moved back into the P1 position. Kreppen sitting there in third, waiting, thinking he was great on the long runs throughout the heat races. He was going to make his charge. I think he made it a little bit too late because it took till lap number 19 for him to move into second to get around Stone. This allowed Calderon to get a good enough gap and hold it for the remainder of the race, as Calderon was able to score the victory by 0.4 of a second over Kreppen, with Stone finishing in second, Schumacher fourth, or third, Stone in third, Schumacher fourth, Falcone in fifth.
Wow. Big race win there for Carlos Calderon. Again, another one of the videos, the scale line videos. I got to see the emotion after that one. And again, like we said, folks, just all these first time winners. Let's move to Mini Swift, presented by Sony Racing.
His first series start, yeah.
Yeah, well, his first series start as well. Yeah, dude, one and done.
One and done. He probably will be one and done. Yeah,
I'm good. I'm never coming back.
He's a Joe Turnia Masters, maybe. I don't know.
So funny. Mini Swift, presented by Sony Racing USA. Here's the headline. Orioli secures first mini victory at USPKS.
Yeah, it wasn't Orioli who was fast early on as well. It was Maxwell Macha setting fast time in qualifying in his Paralyn Motorsport USA debut at 50.905. But also Jake, I can never say his name right. Manalio.
I think so.
See, I want to say
Manalio. I'm not sure.
Manamana.
It's Manalio or Manalio.
See, Xander says it differently, so that's where I'm tossed.
He says a lot of things differently.
Good point. Good point. So you say it, Rob.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Manalio. That's how I spell it. So I don't know.
We'll go with Manalio from now on.
I guarantee
listen, we're going to find out for sure after the show. Somebody's going to tell us exactly what it is.
I hope so.
We got to take it from Jake's got to tell us himself.
He should. Well, Jake put in a time of 50.905 as well, so they had to go back to the second fast lap. And Macha, that was unique. I looked at this. He did a 50.905 as fast time. His second fast time was a 50.906, only 1,000th of a second off in those two fast laps. So Macha certainly had the pace. Unfortunately, didn't translate into a win in the opening heat races. That was Cameron Johnson, the Wisconsin driver, on the Merlin, picking up the win over Orioli, with Jake finishing in the third spot. Macha did, however, win the second heat race with championship leader Jaden Francisco in second and Johnson in the third position. And then Orleoli picking up a heat win. So 3 different heat winners over the 3 heat races, with Francisco second and Macha in the third spot. So despite Macha not finishing in the top 3 in the opening heat, he was able to score. He finished 4th. So he was able to score the pole position. Again, Rob, this was unique. 3 drivers with the same amount of points
again
at the top after 3 heat races. Now,
Wow.
What does that tell you, Rob?
I don't know, David.
It's very competitive, is it not?
It's very competitive. There's three outright guys going for a race win. That's what it tells me.
So all 3 drivers had the same amount of points with different results. Macha and Johnson had the same results, while Orleoli had a 2nd, 5th, and a win. So Macha, with his fast time in qualifying, was able to get the pole position. Cameron Johnson, who qualified 4th, started 2nd on the main event, and Santiago Orleoli was 5th in qualifying. So he started from the 3rd spot for the main event with Jane Francisco starting 4th and Enzo Di Janeiro starting in the 5th spot. The leaders early on included Cameron Johnson, Maxwell Macha, Jaden Francisco. Eventually it ended up being Francisco, Jake, and Santiago Orleoli, who were able to break away. Now, Orleoli, that was a unique story. As we said, he started 3rd, but he was actually off the racetrack in lap 1 and fell back all the way to 13th. Wow. But that early racing at the front of the field allowed him to get back up into the 3rd spot and eventually break away with Francisco and Jake, both drivers on the Nitro Kart. So it was Nitro Kart, and Kart Republic up front. Orleoli moved up into the 2nd spot. He obviously had the fastest kart on the racetrack. Eventually got into the lead on lap number 18. And as they made their way through the final lap, he was able to hold off the over-under move by Jaden Francisco on the final corner and reached the checkered flag first by 96 thousandths of a second for Orleoli to earn his first mini victory at USBKS.
And David, here's the top 5, just so we don't say his name incorrectly. Santiago with the win, Liam 2nd, Jake 3rd, Maxwell 4th, Cameron 5th.
See, you said it wrong. It's Jaden, not Liam.
Oh, it's Jaden. That's right. Right.
You messed it. I'll do it again.
You don't write that in there for me.
Let me do it. Well, because I know their first names.
Go, David. You can't say them correctly, but that's fine.
I can't say them. Orleoli. Santiago, Jaden, Jake, Maxwell, and Cameron.
There you go. You didn't have to say Manalio or Manalio, either or.
Kart Republic, Nitro Kart, Parolin, and Merlin.
Good group there as well. All right, folks, let's go into Micro Swift presented by Team Ferris Racing. The headline is this: Lockhart makes it 3 different winners on the season.
And Rob, the one common thing throughout the season is Micro Swift puts on great races.
They do.
These kids just know how to wheel it, and it's fun to watch because you don't quite know what they're thinking either. So it is always fun. The top qualifier actually was Trackhouse winner Slate Harrell, a 51.821. But again, 3 different drivers winning the 3 different heat races. Leo Simoni, for the Canadian squad, picking up the win in heat number 1 ahead of Harrell and Dutch Westbrook. It was Harrell picking up the win in heat number 2 ahead of Lennox Lockhart and Leo Simoni, while Lockhart came through with a win in heat number 3 ahead of Brody Stoffel and Harrell. So through all that, it was Harrell with the best points total to start the start the main event from the pole position. Simoni in the 2nd spot, Lockhart 3rd, Stoffel 4th, and Hudson Howard starting in P5. Stoffel got a very bad start, got essentially put in the middle of the pack as they made their way up the hill into the opening corners. And through that contact, when you get 3 wide going into that very narrow S's section. So he was off the racetrack and had to fight from the back towards the middle of the field. So up front, it was actually Lockhart leading on the opening circuit, and he led until lap 4 when Simoni took over the lead. And the 2 J. Howard driver development drivers, including Hudson Howard, were able to pull away. And then it was Howard's turn at the point, taking over the lead on lap 9. So they were showing the way until Simone decided it's my turn to lead in the 20-lap race. And he took over the lead on lap 17. All during that time, Lockhart was slowly inching his way forward, position by position, got up into that second spot when Simone made that move for the lead. And then the following lap, Lockhart took over the lead, and that was it. That was the winning move for Lockhart, as the Velocity Racing Sody Kart driver was able to hold off the field to earn his first USPKS win, winning by 8/10 over Leo Simone.
Yeah, Simone second, Westbrook third, Brody in fourth spot, and
Mason Brody.
Harrell wrapping up.
Slate Harrell.
Harrell. Qualified pole, ended up finishing in the 5th position.
Yep. Sody Kart, Kart Republic, Benic, Energy, and Nitro Kart. So 5 different brands in top 5.
Championship starting to heat up. David, one more race to go.
All these categories.
Yeah. It's tight. It's tight, right? All right, folks, one more break. When we get back, we'll wrap things up. We'll have a look at the Constructors' Championship, and we'll wrap it all up with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. Let decades of experience and success lead you to the top of the podium. Join Brandon Jarsacrack Racing as your race team at the sport's major events in the United States. Brandon Jarsacrack is a 4-time United States Pro Kart Series champion, along with a multi-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour and WKA Manufacturers Cup Series race winner. Jarsacrack is ranked among one of the best from his generation to get behind the wheel of a racing kart. BJR provides full race team service and support at all USPKS, SCUSA, and Stars Championship Series events, along with trackside programs at the Trackhouse Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. Partnering with Mike Doty Racing, Brandon's team of driver coaches and mechanics are passionate for the sport, providing decades of experience both on the track and working with many of today's karting standouts and current motorsport stars. Brandon Jarsacrack Racing offers a full range of services, including kart preparation, driver coaching, and race event support for both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competitors. BJR is an official LN Racing Kart team with OTK USA and is an official offset sport race team. Contact them today to develop a program based around your needs. Head to brandonjarsacrack.com to learn more. Back at it, episode 152 of the Debrief here, capping off our EKN trackside coverage from the USPKS event at Road America. Rob Howard alongside David Cole. Let's cap things up here with the wrap-up, the Constructors' Championship, and the EKN trackside live race calendar. David, first thing you have written down here for the race wrap-up is what we like to see every weekend.
Yeah, no red flags. That's the major deal with any race we go to, any race we have across the country or around the world. So, thankfully, No stoppage in racing. There were a couple drivers who needed some medical attention, but I don't think anything was serious. So that was good across the board. So again, a very safe weekend. And Rob, I got to think that ABCD heat format in the KA junior and KA senior categories, where we have nearly 50 drivers or over 50 drivers, that certainly helps in the safety aspect of things.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, you're not having as many drivers on track at the same time. There's not so much urgency, right? You're just gonna work your way forward. I do love that a lot. And again, we talked, David, about the theme of the show here. It seems like the race report, 7 new winners on the season. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the cool part. You kept mentioning that as we kept covering all the different categories. And again, once we got to the end of the day and Paulie Massimino picked up that first victory in X30 Pro, it was like, yeah, we did have 7 new winners ever. First time ever winning in USPKS in those respective categories, and all new winners on the season as well. So definitely makes things I think X30 Pro is the only category where we don't have any championship battle going into the finale, but all the other categories are going to be interesting to watch.
Let's talk about the video marshaling system. Second weekend for that program in the USPKS.
Yeah, they definitely added some more cameras. Road America is a little bit bigger than Trackhouse with where you got to position cameras. So they added some more there. Obviously, Blake Hunt's still manning that in terms of during the on-track action. He's got officials out on the racetrack, had a couple returning officials come back onto the racetrack. Excuse me, had a couple new ones, including Mike Smith from California joining the crew. So again, they're still sorting that out. Again, the one unique thing though, however, is with those cameras, everything's wireless. So you're beaming the feed to receivers to go into the monitors and the computers to record everything. With Road America, Trans Am had wireless systems throughout the area, and even Kart Chaser has their wireless systems throughout the area. They actually had to have a meeting. I believe it was Friday evening or Saturday evening, because there was some overlapping and some things were going down. So that's something I learned about with the wireless systems that they're using is they can go off different frequencies. So that way you're not bouncing on different wireless systems in terms of the camera feeds. So that was a unique little learning tool I learned about this weekend, and so did USPKS as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mentioned it before we went to the commercial break, David. One more race to go. Mid-August, USPKS will wrap things up at Newcastle.
Yeah, and again, talking about the championship, this is a best 3 out of 4. So that throws a whole different element into it as well. And as I talked about, I think X30 Pro is the only category where we essentially have a provisional champion already based on the numbers that I looked at. But yeah, once we get closer to that mid-August event, we'll have a kind of a breakdown. And again, throughout that weekend, it'll be interesting to see, look at total points versus the best 3 out of 4. I know that's how the championship's decided, but it would be cool to see who would actually win in the counting all 4 rounds.
Let's go to the Constructors' Championship, David. 6 brands splitting the 7 wins.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get 7, but Carlos Calderon messed that up, picking up a win for Speed Concept Racing, as he and both Travis Pettit for Speed Concept Racing are on the CS55, made by OTK. So OTK picking up actually 4 wins as you count the LN Racing Kart and Cosmic, who each had a win. GFC picking up a win, as well as Kart Republic in Mini and Sodi Kart in Micro.
All right, let's wrap it up with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar presented today by DID Chain. Since 1933, DID has been designing and manufacturing high-quality chains that are chosen and utilized by the world's best power sports athletes and is the winningest chain brand in the industry. From the hairpin turns of MotoGP to the local circle track and everywhere in between, DID has a chain offering for all levels of power sports that are designed to outlast and outperform the competition. With over 90 years of experience, stay driven with DID. All right, DC, a little bit of a break for you here, a couple weekends off, and then you're back at it at the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, the finale of this year's Pro Tour, again, July 25th to the 27th, Newcastle Motorsports Park.
Yeah, excited to head back there. Since 2015, we've been going to Newcastle for the Summer Nationals. So I can't do my math right now, but I'm guessing that's like 10, right?
It's close
10th,
to 10.
10th anniversary. How about that? Because I think this would be the 11th time. So, yeah, excited. They did announce the track layout. So we're doing the national layout with the Monza, or as people call it, the shark fin, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the unique part. It is a bit of a different racetrack with that in it, but in the normal direction. So it's essentially the Cup Karts layout. Now the track map still has the finish line by the racer's grill. So that would mean the exciting finishes we used to see back in the early and mid 2000s of the big draft into the final corner. Are we going to see that, or are they just mistakenly putting it?
Are they teasing you, David?
I mean, I've always said that's, when we go in the reverse direction, that's where we put the finish line, because it gives us an exciting finish and right in front of everybody, so everybody can see. And so I like it if they do it this way. I hope we don't see a Billy Lewis finish of somebody flying into the fence after crossing the finish line like he did at the Robopong, but we might see it. Who knows?
Lots of racing happening at Newcastle Motorsports Park in the second half of the season. We know, of course, the CKNA Grand Nationals will be there. They've got their MG Tires 200, the endurance race there as well. But, David, you go from Newcastle at the end of July, 2-3 weeks later, you're right back at it again for the Indiana Grand Prix, USPKS capping off their championship at Newcastle as well. We've already talked about it, went through the entire round 3 debrief here. That event, you said, David, lots of championships are going to be up for grabs. It'll be a great weekend, August 15th to 17th.
Yeah, 6 of 7 championships up for grabs, and maybe we can get another 7 different winners, 7 new winners at Newcastle, but very tough to do. We see a lot of former race winners come through there, but again, you never know. Last year when we were there, we had to deal with hurricane weather coming through, so we got a lot of bowling in on Friday because they canceled practice. Hopefully that won't be the case this year.
We'll look a couple months down the line. Actually, obviously we're here July 1st through July, then at the end of August. David, you're back at it once again. The Rock Island Grand Prix back again, August 30th to 31st.
Labor Day weekend for the last 21 years, except for COVID. I've been in Rock Island, Illinois, celebrating the Rock Island Grand Prix and covering the event. Raced there 11, 12 times, something like that. Got to beat your butt there last year. That was fun.
Ass. Yep. Yeah, 100%. Hey, back to the old track. It's been repaved.
Back to the old track, and looking at photos, a lot of the racetrack is newly paved or at least cement. So the surface this year probably going to be very slippery, but should be very smooth. So that's going to be the fun part about it. As much as I think me and you loved last year's layout, it was definitely fun, unique, and threw some people off and made for exciting racing. I think people like going back to the original racetrack. It's obviously fast, but they could be adding some different uniqueness to this year's layout with the same racetracks. That's something we'll have to cover as we get closer and closer to Labor Day weekend. Yeah,
we'll look more at that. There'll be a lot of content, a lot of preview stuff coming for the Rock Island Grand Prix as we get closer. Just 2 months away still, as we said, folks, from that event. But I believe registration's open now. I think I saw that online.
Registration's open, and the first entry was a shifter kart driver, so that's good. Shifters will be back. I got to assume with the smooth surface of the racetrack, maybe we can get some shifters there. I know the Miami Grand Nationals are running the same weekend at Trackhouse, so hopefully we'll get some shifters. I didn't quite look at any results from Quincy. I think they might have had a couple there, but again, numbers will breed numbers, and if everybody goes, everybody will want to be there.
Final thoughts, Dave?
Exciting weekend, a long weekend. I love the heat race format. Makes it fun and interesting. Doesn't I think to me, I think it provides safer racing. We don't have guys going buck wild and crazy on a Saturday main event and then have to fix everything for Sunday action all over again. I know people love that second chance opportunities, but look at John Antonino. The guy got disqualified in qualifying and used that all day, that situation Saturday, to work his way back up into the mix and get on the podium on Sunday. So again, I love that format when we got the big numbers that we do have. It certainly makes it fun and exciting. I think it makes it a little bit safer because not everybody's going buck wild and crazy.
Yep. I understand the concept there. All right, folks, that wraps up edition number 152 of the EKN Debrief. David, give us a full deep dive into the USPKS Wisconsin Grand Prix, round number 3 of their 4-round series. Today's show, of course, presented by OTK USA. Big thank you to OTK USA for supporting EKN as they have for many years. That wraps things up. As we said, looking down the line, the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, the finale next up on the EKN Trackside Tour for 2025. David Cole will be trackside. Again, conflict. I won't be able to make it this year. Sad. Hopefully be back again in 2026. But again, that wraps up this edition of the Debrief. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye.